Hey, welcome to the Weekly Open, episode 4, sponsored by Prime XBT. Who are Prime XBT? Excellent platform that you can use to trade crypto, stocks, FX, anything you want. They have hundreds of instruments and you don't need KYC, so you can just use a email to sign up. You can deposit crypto, you can trade a number of assets, high withdrawal limits, excellent user interface, copy trading, uh, brilliant platform. Very, very impressed with what they offer. And if you want to check them out, there's the link in the bio with the code Tyler Durden. So let's take a look at the markets. What has been going on? Now, weekly chart on Bitcoin. So we spoke about this previously. We took out the swing high here. This is where our high was 3 weeks ago. We haven't yet hit that again since. Okay, closed low. Last week we had an inside week, so we didn't take out the previous week's high or low. It's Tuesday now, and we've immediately ripped higher and taken out this the previous weekly high. Okay, and that is common on an inside week. And what else is common is for it to then rapidly move towards the other side of the range. So we're going to mark this level up, last week's high. That's been taken out, so we'll drag that back to there. And now we'll be looking for, uh, just based on the weekly chart, we'll be looking for a way into the market so we can take out previous week's low. Um, Yeah, so that'll be the plan on the macro level. So daily chart. Now we mentioned this last time, okay? We had the pullback with this really nice market structure. We mentioned that it was possible, very possible that we could get lower high, high, lower high. So we could get a breakdown before the market continued the structure, which it did 3 previous times. Rallied off these lows, rallied off these lows, rallied off these lows, each time keeping that bullish structure intact. We mentioned that, well, I mean, we never know what's going to happen. We can only forecast, but we thought that it was very, very possible that although it carved a low out, it then needed to invalidate this high, and quite quickly. It's now had a little push up, swept some highs, took some liquidity, and now it's immediately pulling back. And I think the targets now are going to be these lows, which we bring the um, we bring in last week's low, which I should have marked previously, and we have, you can see we're still within well, I mean, we pushed outside of last week's range, and if we bring in Monday low, which is there, give us a better idea of where we are in terms of areas of liquidity and SR. So pushed up early on Monday, took out all the highs, immediately got back inside. So if this closes back within this range, this will be the area where we're looking to trade. Okay, back within here, which means we're looking to trade to the lower area of the range. Okay, and if it breaks and closes below, then we start looking for gap fills and liquidity. Okay. Oh, that was a terrible X. So that will be the plan a little bit further down the line. But for now, we're back within this range, which is last week's range. And initial targets are going to be last week's low. Okay. H1. So we had these previous levels on. So I'm going to clean this up a little bit, but just to give us a better idea of where we are. We have with this Monday high. Okay. With this Monday high, what happened last week was these equal lows were important. The market dropped in, broke the high that created the low, bullish market structure, consolidated within here for a few days and part of the weekend, and then we had the rip up on Monday straight off that open, um, and it's just hit all these highs, okay, and it's taken out this high over here. You can see that one has been taken out, but the high over here held, okay, which was, we didn't want to see this move fully retrace if we were bullish, and it has fully retraced. But it could always put a bottom in here and rebound. But in terms of what it's done, it's created a failure pattern to the upside, and anybody that got long on that breakout is now underwater. So if you saw that breakout and you set limit orders, limit orders, limit orders, that's now dragged you underwater. If that comes back up here, it lets you out of jail, right? And then you think, well, that's pretty bullish, and then we start targeting them highs, and this becomes the failure pattern, okay, where shorts then get trapped. But for now, we have to trust what the price is telling us. And for me, you're looking at this and saying all you're seeing is trap traders, okay? And now we start targeting structural lows, which are here, and here. How would I get in? I'd wait for a little pullback because we have Monday's low here. I don't yet have an invalidation. If we drop this a little bit lower, you can see how it reacted on that previous weekly open. If it does a little V bottom here and takes some stops out, let me just mark this up nice and clean. If it V bottoms here, takes some stops out, and then take these stops here, okay, and then starts breaking down, I will enter here. I'll have my stop loss there, and I'll look for the next move straight down into there, okay. So that's Bitcoin. Until then, there's not much really to suggest looking for a bottom here. I think the way that is broke broke out there and collapsed quite quickly, I don't envision this doing that. It obviously can, because the market can do whatever the fuck it likes, excuse my language, but in terms of further downside, I think it's more likely. Okay, so Ethereum. Now, this chart hasn't been marked up for a while, but we mentioned on previous streams we had, I might even be able to drop this to the daily. In my previous streams we had this as a key level, okay, and that we mentioned that it might get front run if there's a lot of sell orders in here. It wouldn't be able to tag the level, right? It'll just get pushed lower and lower as participants try and exit after being deep underwater for this whole move down. Now they're trying to run out of the fire exit, so quite often levels get ran, and you can't get you can't get your hedge position filled before you know it. You're back to where you were before the move started. So this is what could happen up here. Do I think it's going to happen? I'm not too sure yet. But again, that even here looks like it's flattening out. What do I mean by that? We had the breakout. Okay, we dropped in, we took some lows out. Failure pattern, broke the high. So then we had bullish market structure. Dropped, took some lows out, broke higher, pushed up, took this high out. Okay, which is important. Now I'm going to bring in another level here. So we're on the daily chart. And if you look at this level here, and then this level here, we have taken out the highs. We're within this area of price. We couldn't break out. We've been there for what, 2 weeks now, almost 2 weeks, right? Roughly. So we broke within this range, closed, pushed up, retested support, tried again, took out the highs. Now, at least we've isolated price into an area, and that for me that means I now have a target, the lower side of the range here. I don't have to go too low. I don't have to start looking for targets over here. I just want to retest at this level because we could stay within the range, then retest the high, drop again. We could stay in here for a bit before a breakout. It could be an accumulation phase until we get a decent couple of closes below this level. Then we can start looking for lower targets. But right now we're range bound. Okay, and we could use that to our advantage in terms of targets. So with that said, um, there we go. This is going to be the target. Okay, H1. So let's bring in Monday range actually. So we've got Monday range. Monday low. And then we have, yeah, I mean, we've taken out last week's highs, very similar to Bitcoin. But it also created a new high. Ethereum created new highs. Bitcoin didn't. That's the difference. There's a, what am I doing here? Last week's high there. Okay. Last week's low here. There we go. Let's drop this to the H1. We can see a little bit better where price is and where it could be going. Now, this is where the market has been trapped. The market broke out, consolidated, even created a kind of a little triangle, didn't it? It looked like it was consolidating before ripping higher continuation. And quite often they do in bullish markets. I'm telling you, when these markets are bullish and they start almost corkscrewing up, okay, into the apex, the breakout is to the upside and fast, and you can bank on it. Right now, this has failed and it's back within, okay, and it's just swept Monday's low quite nicely, but it hasn't took out a key low. Yes, it's taken out Monday's low, but in terms of a big, um, oh, it did. Well, it did. It just did. I was gonna say I didn't think it did, but it has. It's just taken out that. Ideally, we wanted to, we want to see big swing lows, big swing highs taken out, swing highs taken out, not just a daily low, because that, although it's relevant for our range, um, the Monday range, that ain't really without that. Um, Let me explain myself a little better. Without that there, that's not a relevant low. Okay, this is the relevant low in terms of structure. Here's the higher low. Okay, higher low, higher low. So I'm thinking how I'm going to get into this market is I don't know if it's going to pull back to here, but if it does, we'll look for it to break down and straight into there. Okay, if it doesn't pull that far back, which I'm not sure it will, I mean, shorts will be looking to enter this market if it pushed up that high. Potentially there's a level in here. Okay, so we have resistance, failure, resistance, resistance, grinding into the level, breakout back within. Okay, now if it pushes up into this level and then starts breaking down from here, okay, then we can sell it straight into there as a first target, second target, and wherever it wants to go lower. But ultimately, leaving this range here is going to be the signal for a bigger swing, which will be a full retrace of this move back into this low. Okay, which I mean still takes it to 1300. It's a lot more than the 800 where it bottomed, the 800 where it bottomed, So if it does, even if it does come back and take this low out, or just fills the gap, I don't think it's that big of a problem. Um, I mean, in terms of it's not that big of a move to retrace. If you consider, um, if you consider the low of the breakout to the current high, which is about there, you have, so we had the low here to the current high, which is here, and there's the mid-range, which is about 50%, right? A 50% retrace brings you back into this level, So I mean, a 50% retrace, a correction would be fine. I mean, it could still continue up after that, but it's very possible. So that's the play for Ethereum. The other altcoin I'm going to look at is Ape. Now, I wanted this because I wanted this short for these reasons. I posted this on Twitter, but I love what it's done here. Okay, so here was support, there's a bounce, the close, breakdown, retest resistance, sells off, creates a bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green weeks, one red. But most importantly, swing fail. Market continued up. Swing fail. Close below. Into that high time frame resistance. We had stops. We had stops. Oh, is it gonna not let me do X stops taken in there? It doesn't let you, does it? The magnet. And now we have a pullback off the weekly open. So I wanted to see. I wanted to see I wanted to see previous week mid-range hit as the target. So how we use this is there. So what we have is, if I drop this to the H1, maybe I see it a bit clearer. Okay. Now previous week's high is here. Of course, sorry, previous week. There's the previous week high. We wanted that to be to take out this high to then trade back below and close as a swing fail, and it did that. Just to remind you, there, okay? Took the high out, closed as a swing fail. Now we have our target, which is formed by marking out the previous weekly swing high, swing low, the one that got taken out, okay, and using the mid-range, which is there. Okay, so we're just looking for a drop into there, and that will be trade over. Okay, it can go lower, it might not get there, but that's the trade setup I've been looking for, and this one played out really nicely because it came up, it took some highs out, lower high, it was, you know, there's so many exposed lows over here that it's dropped into them nicely, but I still think gap here, stops in there at daily low, and I think that might even be Monday. Monday, Sunday. No, it's not. Monday's over here somewhere. So that's what I'm looking for with Ape. That's what I'm looking for with Bitcoin and Ethereum. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Goodbye.